Yeah, and I think we're going to look for Novak in the beginning of this match and throughout this match to be very aggressive with his court positioning. He doesn't want to get put on the run early against Popyrin, so it's going to be a little bit of cat and mouse with the baseline positioning.
I'll try a second introduction for you, Wally. I know what you said was absolute gold. I'm apologising for not hearing it.
Well, Petch, I've actually forgotten what I said. I think it was good. I just forgot to hit the mic on button. But I am here.
It happens to the best of us, and you are one of the best.
Well, I was able to speak with Brett Hobden, one of the owners of Gata Analytics, earlier today about what Novak's going to look to do in his service games. And one thing he said was Popyrin makes more mistakes off of that backhand wing. So I think we're going to see Novak serving a bit more down the tee on the deuce, more wide on the ad, which isn't his favorite one on that ad side. But that backhand, sometimes the feet get tangled for Popyrin, and he makes a few mistakes.
40-15.
But Novak is one of the best at hitting all spots on the court. Doesn't use a lot of body serves. Pretty much always goes for the corners.
Again, Djokovic.
He's found another corner. There's no hiding place from this man.
Yeah, and that's the defense that Novak Djokovic creates. He just puts so much pressure on you, but I do like the move from Popyrin. I want to see him coming into the net, putting pressure on Djokovic. You got to be a bit unpredictable against the great man.
Super stuff from Popyrin.
It sure was. You can just see that shot tolerance from Alexei Popyrin. He waited for the right opportunity getting up to that drop shot. But again, he didn't go for a big shot early on in the point. He said, you know what? I feel like I can hang with you from the baseline. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
His girlfriend Amy at the back there. Oh, that is so sweet. What a start this is for Popyrin.
That sure is. And, you know, when we see Novak have trouble with an opponent, it's when they've been able to take advantage of the mid-court balls and be a bit more aggressive, not let Novak get into too many long rallies. And then also being able to use a drop shot or a short slice to bring Novak in, take him out of his comfort zone. Alexei Popyrin against Mark Polmans in the first round was very successful at coming to the net. He was using a lot of serve and volley. He's not afraid to take those short balls and come in. And with that long wingspan, it's hard to get the ball around him.
Again, Popyrin. One game all.
That is a very positive start for the Australian. Had some injury troubles through 2022. He had a big problem with his toes, ended up trying to glue the little toe net to the one next to it, taped it up, then got on the clay, and then the clay got in there and ended up becoming even more of a problem for him. A real sort of stop-start season for him. And after the match in Brisbane, unfortunately, had to pull out of Adelaide with a left glute problem. Was penciled in to play Lehechka there, who ended up winning the title.
Yeah, you see that first serve there to Popyrin, and again he takes that right foot across his body, and so he's not able to get a full swing on the return. When it lands too short, Djokovic is able to penetrate. Yeah, you talk about that glute issue that he had, and again, it's never a good thing to have an injury, but looks like he's 100% healthy now, and he was able to come here a week early, get some training in, and maybe you start to get a little bit more of a feel of the courts when you're here that whole week early. He definitely looks comfortable.
As a point-winning strategy, be questionable, I would imagine, Wally, whether you feel as though that's something you can do all the time tonight.
Well, if he's going to win, he's going to have to do something a little extra special. 151 kilometres, that serve, fairly short in the square. Worth taking a chance.
This has been an absolute treat. Just 10 minutes.
Out. Love 15.
Popyrin does a good job of mixing his serves around the box. He doesn't hit a lot of body serves. It's either tee or wide, and tries to get his opponent stretching. And you definitely have to put that serve on a dime, or else Novak's going to get it.
Guys, just discussing the merits of the tactics against Novak. I feel in men's tennis, you get the great players like a Ben Shelton or a Nick Kyrgios who've just got so much firepower and they're so dynamic that they can unsettle opponents. But outside of that, you've got to be able to win the 80% rally situations. You've got to be that good against Novak if you're going to beat him. if you haven't got that sort of firepower, and that's my big question mark over Alexei, can he sustain the rallies?
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Wally. And again, he's going to have to play big, but there's nobody better in the world at counterattacking than Novak Djokovic. He's able to take that defensive position and get back onto offense very quickly. But he's got to play at a high level for a very long time, does Popyrin.
So good at finding Popyrin's backhand off the return.
Yeah, and that was looking at the statistics from Djokovic's match against Prismic. He was returning a lot to Prismic's backhand, so it's pretty much going the exact same game plan that he had in his first round off the return. It's always nice when you can kind of go back to what you did 2 days ago. That's another thing that Alexei Popyrin does on his second serve. It's pretty much always body. He never goes for the corners. Goes body forehand or body backhand, and you better believe that Novak knows that after speaking with God Analytics, who he goes through.
Going to need a few of those, not just the aces, but the unreturned number. Usually sits around 45%. He's just at 20%, 2 out of 10 not coming back so far tonight, but that was a valuable one. Part of the problem for the night for Popyrin, I heard a lot of chat about his serve and forehand, and absolutely that is correct in terms of how he can be successful tonight. Fact of the matter is that Novak will out-hit him off the forehand wing. He has a bigger forehand than Popyrin. As impressive as the Aussies is, the serves is simply better. And it is a great shot.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I mean, I think the forehand from Djokovic is better. And then also, you know, again, he's... you talk about what can Novak improve. He just keeps improving, but he's improved his position on that forehand, getting closer to the baseline so the ball gets to his opponent a little bit quicker. Just putting more and more pressure on his opponent.
Advantage opening.
Under siege, but Djokovic can't break through this time.
Yeah, you'd love to see that from Alexei Popyrin. He's talked about how he wanted to come into this match full of confidence and belief that he can do it. That's always the key when you're playing such a great player. You have to walk onto the court with that utter belief. And he's showing it so far tonight.
Thank you. Pleasure ready. Thank you. Love.
Popyrin got a nice jump up the rankings with that win in Umag on the clay. Beat a broken-hearted Stan Wawrinka in the final of that tournament in Croatia, back in Goran's land. And then got a nice bit of luck the next week in Cincinnati on the way to getting through to the quarterfinals there. Big points on offer there. Ended up losing in the qualifying to Max Purcell. Ashenov had been struggling with injuries last year, pulled out. Had to play Altmaier in the opening round, who got in as a lucky loser for Andy Murray. And in his second round, awaiting the winner, Nicholas Jarry had to withdraw as his wife was about to give birth. So he ended up popping through to the next round, and Ruusuvuori awaited. He beat him before going down to Hubi Hurkacz in the quarters.
Game Djokovic.
Yeah, and you talk about Novak not wanting to run as much as he did in the past. That, again, comes down to court positioning. So I think if we watch throughout the course of this match how far behind the baseline he goes, Alexei Popyrin does like to go first serve in a big forehand against Polmans. That first shot after the first serve was 76% off the forehand wing. So he'd like to keep that number in that high 70s if he can as well.
Too long.
I mean, Novak is absolute Spider-Man. Normally that return will be short from any other player in the world, but Novak got it deep in the court. Alexei Popyrin was under pressure. And just look at the dexterity from Djokovic. And that right there is just feeling the pressure from the Novak Djokovic return. He knows that return's going to go back in play. It's probably going to go to his backhand. Just doesn't want to be on the defense, so he's going for something a little bit bigger.
Can he paint the line to get himself out of trouble again? He went the other way with a serve and volley. That was nice.
That was brave. But you look at that second serve, the 2 second serves, the 2 double faults, you know, his second serve is almost like his first serve, just a little bit slower. There's not the height and the flight and the variety. But a brave serve volley point there. He really charged the volley. Well done.
Ace number 3 for Popyrin. Wow, we talk about belief. That shows belief in his ability to serve his way out of trouble.
Best ever win in a completed match was against Felix Auger-Aliassime in Adelaide last year, the Canadian 6th in the world. Tsitsipas's only, in inverted commas, win against a top 5 player, but Tsitsipas retiring in the opening set of their match in Paris back in 2021. It's the other 8 matches he's played against players ranked inside the world's top 5.
If you look at the stats, Novak Djokovic wins more points on that deuce side because he likes to go tee and wide. On this ad side, he prefers the tee. The wide one is one that he's been working on a lot to try to get better.
You can see Alexei, that last couple of points, you know, he's trying to crowd the second serve, which Demon does so well. But, you know, Demon's like electricity. Alexei needs a little more time with those long limbs to produce his shots.
Again, Djokovic. New balls, please.
Yeah, even though Popyrin missed that volley, I do like the move. Just being unpredictable for Novak. Don't show him the same thing over and over. Popyrin's 4 of 8 on the net points won so far. One thing that Alexei Popyrin does so well on his serve is he keeps that ball toss in the same spot. So it's hard to read where he's going to go on the serve. The only thing, it kind of affects the second serve because he's not able to get enough shape on it. But he has a big-time first serve.
Nobody makes you hit more +1 shots after your serve than the man that he's facing tonight. Not only is it a strict examination of his serve, but also of his forehand.
Well, no one said it better than Andy Roddick.
15.
And he said first he takes your legs, then he takes your soul. Just makes so many balls throughout the course of that point. Setting up 2 break points.
Just didn't give any pace for Popyrin to work with.
So interesting, you know, I called Alcaraz last night, Ben Shelton today, and they're so flamboyant, they've got so much firepower, they do some amazing things, but they don't play the percentages. But Novak, the big points come, he just does not beat himself. It's unbelievable how measured he is.
Be thankful for that interruption. Gives them a little more chance to get a bit more oxygen in the lungs. Couple of chances to break for the world number 1. He is absolutely otherworldly.
I mean, the movement from Novak Djokovic right there. It's one thing to hit an open stance backhand, but to slide into it like he did.
Djokovic leads by 5 games to 3.
Just something you can't teach. And then the first quick step to get to this drop shot. The great man is everywhere.
Where you hit it is important, but how hard you hit it there matters too. I mean, that backhand down the line was just perfect. It just dipped below net height as it got to Alexei. Anything faster would have made for a much simpler volley.
And that's what has made him so dominant, particularly here in Australia as well. He just doesn't seem as though he's lost a step in terms of speed, and in terms of his actual play, he's got better in that department. Bigger serving by about 8 kilometers an hour. Bigger forehand by 6 kilometers an hour. Bigger backhand by 5 kilometers an hour. Those numbers were compared with 2019, Wally. I mean, it's amazing how it felt like pro players tailed off at 30, and Novak has gone in completely the different direction.
Yeah, and you can be sure too, you know, as Nick said, he's so meticulous in his preparation. You can just imagine the hours he spends with swing weights, you know, tinkering with his racket, just searching for every available opportunity to add something to his game.
Yeah, well, I was actually at Wimbledon last year and in the gym after Novak finished his semifinal match, and he came in the gym about 15 minutes later, started lifting weights, was doing some extra stretches. You know, again, after you win the semifinals at Wimbledon, people think, oh, is he going to go relax and rest for the final? He got back in the gym for about 30 minutes to get ready for that final.
Let. Good service. Cain, 15.
He's done a good job, Popyrin, of not leaving too many balls in that part of the court, because there is only one outcome, and seemingly just one outcome now in this opening set. Just another exhibition of Djokovic's domination against players outside the world's top 40. He takes the opener, 6-3.
I mean, talk about how much Novak Djokovic takes the legs out of you. When you look at Alexei Popyrin's service duration throughout this game, it's taken 4 minutes and 26 seconds average for him to win his service games. And for Novak, it's only 2 minutes and 18 seconds, so almost half. Just getting so many returns back in play. And that's exactly what Popyrin's got to do. He's got to keep looking for that forehand on the second ball. Alexei Popyrin's forehand topspin speed average is 129 kilometers an hour, which is top 5 on the ATP, which means he can hit it closer to the lines with all that spin. Wally, what do you sense there? I'm looking at Popyrin's shirt, and it seems a little bit windy down there. His shirt's moving quite a lot.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it actually, it's been very slight, but it has just picked up. It favors Alexei, sort of coming down and across his right shoulder. I was just about to say, if you're going to make a play on return, that's just too good, isn't it? I was just about to say, if you're going to make a play on return, Alexei should get excited at the end that he's at when he's returning, because if you can get a few back, that wind has just picked up ever so slightly in his favor.
Yeah, he's got the wind with him, and Novak Djokovic is absolutely Gumby-like right now, getting every ball, using every part of the court, painting lines.
Opening. Long.
thing about that serve is, as a second serve, is that very rarely can you see a player curl it into the forehand side of Novak inside in. It nearly always goes back through the middle and to the backhand. So even when you make a good return like that, Djokovic has given you the line and he's ready for it. Parried that back beautifully. It was a sweet strike from the Australian.
Okay, 15. Latch for service.
Yeah, Popyrin just showing that he's going to look for forehands as much as possible. He was completely in that alley, leaving the hole down the line open, but he knows that he has to take some chances to be able to have a chance. And that's the backhand return right there. He just puts that right foot across, which doesn't allow him to fully finish the swing. And that will create some shanks off the backhand wing.
Left. For service. Again, Djokovic.
Nick, just on that backhand return, so Alexei was a Tennis Australia supported athlete all through his junior career. Even though he based himself overseas, he was funded by Tennis Australia. And at one point, we gave him Pat Cash on the grass, just to spend a month on the grass with him. And Cashy wrote a big report. And one of the things that he wrote was he really needs to address the backhand return. So we're going back quite a few years now. And, you know, this is why I scratch my head sometimes. There's so much information out there, and it's pretty apparent what needs to be worked on. And sometimes you wonder why these little changes aren't made, because you look at the changes Rafa's made in his game, the changes that Novak's made in his game from when he first came onto the tour. I mean, that forehand was so extreme Western. He used to drop it short whenever he went cross, and it's yeah. I mean, Alexei's still doing it all these years later on.
Yeah, and as you said, Wally, that's an interesting one for me as well, because it's, you know, that return split step, you can do that on your own. You can kind of just go out there on a tennis court, do a split step, and do the jab with your left foot, and do that over and over and over to get used to that movement. You don't need a coach feeding you balls the whole time. Tennis is such a muscle memory sport, so the more that you can kind of get out there, swing the racket on your own, make a split and a jab step with that left foot for the backhand open stance, then when you get in a match, it'll already be there for you.
Done that a couple of times tonight, very impressively.
30-15.
Yeah, we talked about Popyrin's top spin off the forehand, the speed being in the top 5. His forehand spin rate is in the top 10 in the ATP. 3,000 RPM. This guy's got a massive weapon off of that wing.
Please.
Some lovely shot making from Popyrin right now. Crowd loving it here in Melbourne. 2-1.
Yeah, you can just kind of feel like Djokovic is feeling a little bit more pressure now from that forehand of Popyrin. During the changeover, Djokovic again was looking at his camp. So Popyrin just needs to keep taking cuts there. Popyrin again, once again, just upping the pace off that forehand wing.
Long total.
Just 1 of 8 first serves being made in this second set from Djokovic.
$15-13.
And a crisis tends to narrow his focus.
Great depth on that return from Popyrin. Deep down the middle of the court, not giving Djokovic angle. Now setting up a couple break points.
Thank you.
What a way to break.
You've got the crowd up on their feet. Alexei Popyrin admiring his athleticism.
Popyrin leads by 3 games to 1.
And Djokovic, once again, you could feel on the changeover before he came out, he was a little uneasy looking at the camp of Goran Ivanisevic and Carlos Gomez Herrera. Just feeling like Popyrin is getting on top of these forehands, hitting it bigger. He's putting Djokovic under pressure now.
Gerald Cordemi can take a little credit for the break point as well. His fitness trainer that's to the right of Xavier in that coaching box. That was a quick turn of pace. Electrifying first step from the Australian.
Wally, what are you feeling down there? Are you feeling like the pace is jumping up from the forehand, or what's happening out there for Popyrin?
Yeah, I agree with that. It is. It's finding its mark. It's very direct and it's coming on quickly. And Novak's almost looking at his camp like, you've given me information that is not correlating to what's happening out here. But Novak's definitely hit a flat spot. In fact, I think you said 1 from 8 on first serves, and for whatever reason, the ball toss just got way out in front of him all of a sudden, like he's almost having to collapse to hit it. It's so far out in front. Second serve fine, first serve not.
Popyrin is flying in Melbourne, 4-1.
Popyrin leads by 4 games to 1.
Yeah, now you want to see where the statistics are. Alexei Popyrin wins 78% of the sets when he gets that early break. The top 100 average is 76, so he's 2 over that. We'll see if he gets it done here. And you get the sense that Novak's kind of rushing a little bit here. I do know when speaking with the people with Gata Analytics who Novak works with, they did say he would use a bit of serve and volley because Popyrin sometimes goes far behind that baseline on the return.
Rod Laver. Again, Djokovic.
Just what he needed. Rapid hold of serve.
Popyrin leads by 4 games to 2.
But he hasn't found that zen-like state in this second set at all. Agitated. Popyrin making the world #1 feel uncomfortable. Another Aussie ended his 43-match winning streak in Australia. Alex de Minaur in the United Cup. Could Popyrin end this 29-match consecutive win streak here at the Australian Open? Luminous bit of skill on a volley from Popyrin under the night sky here.
And those were two massive serves, those last 2 points, both 207 kilometers an hour. His average first serve speed is 198.2. So he's definitely over that right now.
Right in the crest of a wave. Wally, what did Pat Cash's scouts and reports say on the low backhand volley?
No, Cashy was full of praise for his volleys. He's actually, you know, he was coached by Kim Warwick. I don't know if you remember that name. He was an Australian Open finalist in his very, very early days in Sydney. And Kim taught him the slice and he taught him the volley, that is for sure.
New balls, please.
Well, he taught him well.
Well, Alexei Popyrin is all over Novak Djokovic, and he could become the 4th Australian to actually take a set over Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam match after Leighton Hewitt, Bernard Tomic, and Nick Kyrgios.
Please.
That's what he's aiming to do now.
Fifteen all. Thirteen, 15.
Well, the discipline that has defined his career at the moment, apart from the fact that obviously just missed, just his reaction to the miss is quite telling.
Yeah, again, we're so used to him taking his time in between points, really being methodical, and right now he seems to be rushing between each point.
Please. Again, Djokovic. Popyrin leads by 5 games to 3.
Can Popyrin play the reputation tax? This is where a careers like Djokovic can do some heavy lifting for you.
Left for service. Love 15.
Yeah, as you said, Petch, that's the first double fault of the match right there. Maybe a little nerves creeping in. He said it himself. One of the things that makes Novak so great is his mentality. Can Popyrin have his mentality and confidence in this pressure situation? just sensed that racket head speed on the forehand has slowed down in that point. Just maybe not trusting himself right now. Needs to keep swinging out. When you get nervous, the legs are one of the first things that stop moving.
He's been anything but clutch in this game so far, but that was. He was the architect of the hole that he put himself in. Can he design a way out of it?
Jannik Djokovic.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Novak really take his time now. We saw him rushing through his last couple service games, but back in this set. But I want to see Popyrin speed up his legs again. He's got the whole crowd behind him. Good to see him having the fist pump to his coach over there, Xavier Malisse.
The piece of luck aids Popyrin. The unforced error gives him a couple of set points. Just his third ace of the match, first of the set, and a timely one.
Let. Good service. Please. Please.
What a stylish finish to the second set. Australia erupts.
By 6 games to 4, 1 set all.
And Alexei Popyrin has only 5 wins out of 21 Grand Slam matches when he's lost that opening set. One of these wins was against the top 10 player Taylor Fritz in 2023 Australian Open in the round of 64.
All.
I think, no, they dropped a little napkin there on the court.
You know, it's actually a tissue. He's been blowing his nose at pretty much every end change.
Something that we need to look for from Alexei Popyrin, the use of the backhand down the line and then set up his forehand. But throughout the course of this match, Popyrin has 25% of his shots have been taken inside the baseline, where Djokovic only has 20. So Popyrin is definitely trying to take advantage of these shorter balls and stay on the offense. But again, I still love the unpredictability of Alexei Popyrin using that serve and volley. Even though he missed it, it's going to be in the mind of Novak that this guy might serve and volley and change things up. Alexei Popyrin dialing up 205 down the tee.
Let for service.
once again, that use of the backhand down the line. And one thing that Novak has been working on, according to God Analytics, is his recovery after the serve. He's so quick out of the serve, but they're still working on that footwork for him to be quicker on the bounce back.
Oh. 13-15.
Well, it was slow to the first backhand. And then it was a mere jog by Djokovic's standards to the one in behind him. And he is wounded and winded right now, the world number one.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, any rallies that are over 5 shots, Popyrin's actually winning 20 of those, Djokovic 14. You would have thought that anything over 5 shots, Djokovic would be on the positive, but it's the Australian taking it.
Again, Djokovic. 1 game on.
Very much feels as though Novak isolating himself a little bit from the team and self-preservation trying to kick in here.
As we see a lot of the fans streaming in between the games here, hurrying up to get a seat for this battle.
Well, you might not see a better point at the Aussie Open this year.
The entire camp for Alexei Popyrin up on their feet. He said he wanted to come in full of confidence in this match against Djokovic, and he's showing it. Such soft hands when he got up here, keeping the racket out in front. Exquisite.
Such an early contact point on his +1.
Yeah, we know he likes to look for that forehand on the +1, but he is absolutely inside that baseline, really looking to take charge. So far now 1 of 3 on serve and volley, points won, but I like that play at 30 love. He's still ahead in the game.
Now, right off the back of one of the best points of the tournament, we get a second one. Sensational scenes.
And his coach Xavier Millie saying that was incredible stuff, but let's refocus on the next point. And Alexei Popyrin, anything he touches right now is turning into gold.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Yeah. Please, just come down a little bit during the points to not disturb the players. Thank you.
Astonishing game, breathtaking. Popyrin takes it 2-1.
2 games, 2-1.
Carlos doing what the rules tell him to do in terms of crowd control, but one of the things that tennis needs to get better at is dealing with crowd noise in rallies like that. When you go and look at other sports, I mean, particularly the NBA and the noise that goes on and the precision they still need, they're capable of doing it. Crowd was so into some of those rallies.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Petch, and that's what makes the players love Melbourne and love the Australian Open so much, is the energy that is brought to this Grand Slam, with the courts being so close to downtown and just an amazing atmosphere.
Petch, just on that point, you know, the players are adapting to movement in the crowd. There's been quite a bit of movement here tonight, but we've not stopped once for a spectator to sit down. And I think, you know, it's baby steps, but you're absolutely right. The crowd should get involved in these big points, these big moments.
Djokovic.
Clinical hold.
2 games on.
Just like the silence underscores big moments in tennis matches, when you get noise like that in the previous game in a rally, you know you're witnessing something special. Wally, what do you feel about the slice backhand that he's employed tonight, Popyrin? It seems like it's worked nicely.
Yeah, I'm always a bit sceptical when you go to it 4 or 5 times a row in one particular rally. I mean, Novak deals with it well, but he plays it back fairly carefully, so it's been effective. And look, it was that little short slice in the end that set up the set point for him, so he's using it well.
Yeah, Novak Djokovic kind of smiling about that cat and mouse point there. And I'd agree with you, Wally, as long as he doesn't use the slice too often. I do like the short slice and a mix of a couple, but he needs to keep that aggressive mentality that Alex de Minaur implied at the United Cup of being closer to that baseline and trying to dictate.
Yeah, and it was funny, you know, we talked about the short slice and the lob to win the set, but, you know, there's been some good defense. He's shown us some nice volleys, so it's some of the things that we're not talking about that have been quite effective for Alexei.
Yeah, I think that over the course of every time I've watched Novak or commentated his match, I mean, it's unpredictability that affects him. Short slice, serve and volley, hitting and come in when you least expect it, not giving him the same ball. And Alexei Popyrin is doing all of those tonight.
And I don't know how you guys were under the lights, but I take my hat off too to Alexei. There's been a couple of lobs that he's dealt with that goes up through the crowd, through the lights, into the dark, and back down, and he just nails it with confidence every time.
Djokovic stole the opening point of this game, and you just wonder whether that is going to be the start of him stealing the dream for the Australian. Little breaking news coming out from Nick Monroe.
Yeah, just before that point, we saw him call for the physio, and I was watching his talk with Xavier Malisse, and he said, my calf, and I saw him say, I'm cramping. And that's interesting. And a set all, 2-all, nerves starting to creep in. He's been getting the crowd involved, and that can take energy out of you. And it seems like he's starting to cramp in his calf, and has called for the physio.
He's done it again.
And a lot of times you see players use the short slice cross court because it goes over the lower part of the net. But he's using the slice down the line over the higher part of the net. Djokovic is really struggling to get under that ball to get it up and down. Impressive.
The X-Man has found something in the X and O's of this game. And Popyrin, with power, precision, pushes on again. 3-2.
Leads by 3 games to 2.
Yeah, and for Novak Djokovic, in his last 18 matches, that he's won the first set and lost the second. He's only lost just once in that scenario, and it was against Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final. The other 2 players to win a Grand Slam match against Novak in that scenario, when he won the first, lost the second, was Stan Wawrinka and Rafa Nadal. That's what Popyrin's trying to conquer right now. You know, again, when you look at the stats, I mean, Popyrin, any rally that's gone over 9 shots, he's actually winning 11-4 against Novak, which doesn't happen often, no matter who Novak is playing. But he still looks like he's moving extremely well, Alexei Popyrin. We've been talking about that top spin speed off the forehand, averaging 129 kilometers an hour, top 5 in the ATP. That's exactly what helps get that ball up and down away from the serve. As you said, Wally, sometimes he gets in there on that second serve return and crowds himself, and he's getting jammed with that body serve, not getting around the return, making a few too many mistakes there.
40-30.
Popyrin got a slice of luck in the 10th game of that second set. Novak gets one back.
Again, Djokovic, new balls, please. 3 games on.
Didn't notice any specific drop-off from Popyrin in terms of his movement at that particular stage. We'll obviously keep an eye on it on the serve.
And again, it has been hot and humid over the last couple days where players were starting cramping. One player in particular, Stan Wawrinka, against Adrian Manarino in his four-set match. Jack Draper as well yesterday against Marcos Giron. Ended up getting through the match but had some cramps. And Alexei Popyrin, I feel like it's a little bit more of nerves than actually a fitness issue.
I always felt like with cramps that if you start to cramp, it's the beginning of the end, like they don't go away. Is that correct? Or, I mean, can pickle juice and physio sort them out?
Not when you come from tougher nations, Wally.
Well, Wally, I'd agree with you, but I've actually full body cramped 7 times in my life, and I couldn't figure it out. I changed my diet. I was drinking different electrolyte drinks, and long story short, I finally found just putting Himalayan salt in my drink was what helped me. It sounds so simple, but just getting a little bit more sodium, just enough where you can taste the salt, and then I never cramped again. So
where did you source Himalayan salt from, and does it have a higher sodium content? Is that why it's so special?
yeah, I mean, look, you can also just use normal iodized salt as well.
Yeah.
Just use the salt packets from the cafeteria that we have. But you know, in the States, Himalayan salt's just at any normal grocery store, Whole Foods, any kind of fresh market as well. Just supposed to be better for the body, Himalayan, than the iodized.
We have had some attractive points in this match. There's another one to add to the collection. But you are right, Wally, in all seriousness. I mean, it cramps generally at this stage of a match. With this much runway to go in, just don't go away. I mean, they occasionally fluctuate where you feel as though you have better periods, but then they come back.
Yeah, and then for me, they always started in the calf and then would just start working its way up the leg, and before you know it, you're cramping everywhere. the shot tolerance from Alexei Popyrin has been impressive.
15.
He's hanging in there with Novak Djokovic every single point. No signs of the cramp lingering at the moment.
Silky.
Silky smooth.
13-15.
Novak Djokovic now 6 of 12 net points won, so only winning half of those. Popyrin's done a great job of getting this ball down on him to make it a tough volley. Popyrin making Djokovic work for every single point right now.
Novak in two minds about whether that return from the Australian was going to land in.
Everything that Popyrin is touching is landing in.
Just shy of his fastest of the night, but he wanted a quick point and he got it.
Djokovic.
And the one thing that's important to do, Wally, in this kind of situation, when you know your opponent's injured like this, is to keep forcing them to move dynamically. Don't get too passive.
No, play the ball, don't play the injured man. But, you know, I'm not seeing evidence that he's struggling necessarily in terms of his movement. He still looks much the same as he did when he started the match. Alexei Popyrin.
Thank you.
Okay, so the calf has got to be all right. That was
15 long.
This is a pretty good leap right here. Lunge by Novak, not quite, but you'd think, Nick, and I'm assuming, you know, if there's cramp in the calf, the serve, loading up on the serve is the problem, and that smash, for example, like trying to get up on your toes, not easy.
I think Popyrin might have a broken string here. But yeah, I'd agree with you, Wally. It's interesting that if you are cramping in the calf, as you said, just getting up on that serve, going up for the overhead, but he seems to be kind of not getting the crowd as much involved, right? Pumping the crowd up. He's just kind of more within himself, focusing on himself and not expending that extra energy, I think is helping him as well.
All.
What a beautifully produced shot that is.
.212 from Popyrin. That's the fastest serve of the night from the Aussie. Again, hard for me to imagine, but his average first serve speed coming into this match, 198.2. He is revving it up now.
Just a real intent about Novak's play in this ninth game. Popyrin, of course, overcame cramps in that dramatic win against Stan Wawrinka in Umag deep in the third set before knocking Wawrinka out in the championship match late on. So not the first time he's had to deal with this kind of situation.
The first smash was all frame.
Similar to Petch's smashes, huh? That was impressive from Popyrin. That last overhead, that ball was so high in the sky, so to time that, not easy.
Absolute class, that backhand volley, knifed it.
Well, one comment that Alexei Popyrin made after beating Novak at the United Cup, he said, when you go against Novak, you got to back yourself. You got to keep fighting to the end. And I saw Alexei Popyrin and Popyrin walking together yesterday in the players' lounge, and you better believe he was telling Alexei that exact same thing.
It's a surprising miss, no question about it. But not many players get to push Djokovic this close in the opening rounds of a major.
Players are ready. Thank you. Lat for service. 4-2.
Triple set point.
Thank you. Thank you, please.
And Novak going with probably his least favorite serve on that ad side to save the bacon so far. Can Alexei Popyrin get it done here?
Players are ready. Thank you.
Well, you better believe Novak Djokovic wasn't going to make the same mistake twice on that backhand volley. On the previous one, for him to get to love 30, he just stopped his feet from moving on the volley. This time he ran through it, kept the momentum alive, and now he's back to deuce.
Djokovic.
It's almost like when Popyrin's had the chance to break, he's played kind of a softer point, hasn't stayed as aggressive. He's got to keep up his racket speed here.
Please. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Novak still can't get himself to the relative safety of 5-all.
Popyrin with another chance here. So far in this third set, shots taken inside the baseline, 31% for Popyrin, only 27% for Djokovic. Popyrin has taken it to him and now has another set point.
Please.
I mean, that second serve from Novak Djokovic was massive, 188 kilometers an hour. He normally averages 157.7 kilometers an hour on the second serve. That's more than 20 kilometers extra on that big point.
And he glued it on the line and somehow guided this defensive one-hander down the line. An extraordinary escape.
Novak's counter-attack ability is insane. He felt like he was on the defense, but he just held his ground. A little extra dip on that pass. Even Isabic almost can't even watch.
Djokovic. Games on.
And it's at the fulcrum that Djokovic is going to use that 10th game to turn things around in his favor.
And how will that affect Alexei Popyrin? This first point of the game will be extremely important so he can feel the momentum staying with him.
Thank you.
And for Novak Djokovic, he holds a 3-0 record against Australians at the Australian Open. Only one Aussie player managed to win a set against Djokovic, and that was Lleyton Hewitt in 2012. Alexei Popyrin's trying to get another set off the king.
Third to long. Fourth to long. 40-15.
Djokovic loses it long. Popyrin hangs on to his serve. 6-5 in the third.
Yeah, he sure does. And as you mentioned before, you know, Xavier Malisse and Neville Godwin, they split the weeks with Alexei Popyrin. Neville being from South Africa, great player in his own right. So when you have two great players, former great players as coaches, you're going to trust everything they say.
We saw that little package where Novak got himself out of trouble, but the way he got himself into trouble was that the forehand dropping into the net on a couple of occasions, the backhand volley that just fell off the racket. And guys, it is getting a lot cooler down here. I've had to slip on my cashmere sweater. The conditions have changed.
And Wally, who do you think that favors from you being down there, seeing how they're hitting the ball?
Well, you'd sort of think maybe it affects Alexei. You know, he's the one with the strike on the forehand, and that certainly was evident in that second set. But strangely enough, it was Novak that didn't seem to make the adjustment, finding the net.
$14-15. Please. Again, Djokovic. 6 games all. Third set. Time break.
Who do you fancy in the tiebreak?
Well, I think for me, it's going to come down to who's taking the shots inside the baseline. Right now, Popyrin at 27%, Djokovic at 24%. So whoever plays a bit more aggressive and looks to come forward, if Popyrin gets up to the net, I like his chances. But again, this is where Novak knows exactly how to buckle down
Djokovic.
and get you into some unforced errors.
Well, his last 17 out of 19 breakers in the majors. One loss against Alcaraz in the final women, and of course the other evening on Sunday night against Dino Prizmic in the second set.
Yeah, Novak again talked about how de Minaur succeeded in taking the ball early and aggressively hunting down anything that fell short in the court, and that's exactly what Popyrin did there. Popyrin needs to keep hunting that ball and looking for the winner.
2-1. Djokovic.
Novak almost saying to himself, maybe I just need to keep coming into that backhand. Saw the backhand error there and a wry smile from Djokovic.
Two all.
Just that innate ability that he has to get a ball back into play at a pressurized moment and allow his opponent to beat themselves. Novak, better than anyone else, knows how those movies end. So close for Popyrin to change ends level.
Djokovic.
No lack of effort on his part.
And the biggest thing for me here was how quick was Novak up to that volley. His first step to get there, to take time away from Popyrin, to make that move, to cover the down the line. Just couldn't get there in time. And an ace when it matters most. 6 aces for the set, 9 in the match. Painting the line when he needs it.
Thank you. Djokovic.
Relentless in his pursuit of the world #1.
5-4. Djokovic.
So difficult to even see the space, let alone find it at this stage against Djokovic. Brilliant from Popyrin.
For me, Alexei Popyrin has lost that point every time he's gone to the slice. The slice hasn't been deep enough. It lands in the middle of the court, and then Djokovic puts Popyrin on the defense and sets up a set point.
Thank you. Please. Third set,
Djokovic at his defined best. 4 set points saved.
7 games to 6.
And the world #1 leads by 2 sets to 1.
And I still like that play from Alexei Popyrin. He's wanting to take matters into his own hands, saying, you know what, I'm going to keep coming forward. I'm going to make you pass me. It's exactly what's gotten him to this spot.
Watching this and watching Novak's first round against Prismic, you wonder, you know, who can take him out at the Australian Open? But then you think, is it a collective effort by a series of guys taking something out of him each match that leaves him vulnerable?
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Wally. And, you know, look, the most games Novak Djokovic has dropped in the first 2 rounds at Slams was at the US Open in 2005 when he dropped 47 games. And the last time he actually dropped over 30 games in the first 2 rounds was Australian Open 2017. So he's dropped quite a few games now. He's not used to that.
First game, 4 sets.
That looked Patrick Rafter-esque. He hit that approach shot, got inside the service line so quickly, kept that racket out in front.
You obviously never saw Wally volley.
Oh, I guess not. Say that 10 times, Wally volley.
Nick talking about the forehand spin that he generates, and that's why he can get the ball up and down as quickly and more quickly than other players. Devastating shot.
Alexei Popyrin, 13 aces in this match. Novak Djokovic has 11. Popyrin dropping the hammer.
Again, Popyrin, new balls, please. One game on.
The players taking as long as they can to head over, take a new stick.
Yeah, as the fans start to stream in as well.
No let up in the quality in those opening couple of games of this fourth set as well, after the dramatic conclusion to that third set where Popyrin had 4 set points. Novak took it. Both come out firing again.
Love. Please.
Novak Djokovic has done a great job of kind of being able to amp up the heat on that first serve. We talked about when they played against each other in 2019, the average first serve speed from Novak was 187. So far this year, at the Australian Open, he's at 195. And there's a 204. Just getting on Popyrin quickly.
Novak's a bigger guy, right, though, in the last couple of years. He's definitely bulked up a bit.
Cain, Djokovic.
Rapid hold, just what he wants.
Love.
Popyrin using a little bit more kick to the backhand there. As we've discussed, a lot of the second serves from Popyrin go into the body. He doesn't typically go for the corners. That time he did go for the corner and it worked.
Thirty, 15.
Looked so assured up at the net.
Yeah, I mean, just so many quick, small steps to get up there after this approach shot. Look at his first step. He came in quickly and followed the ball well. Always the key when you hit the approach shot, make sure you follow the ball and then read the racket.
Again, Popyrin.
And Djokovic just kind of feeling his wrist a little bit. He's messing with his hand, stretching it out. Interesting, because we haven't seen that throughout the course of this match.
It was a concern, of course, of the United Cup, and he was struggling with it throughout that match with Alex de Minaur, but assured everybody coming into Melbourne that he was going to be okay. But as you can see here, the wear and tear after 2 very long matches in the opening couple of rounds here. This one not even close to its conclusion, causing problems for Djokovic.
Oh, someone in the crowd must have said something to Novak, and he's saying, come down to the court and say it to my face. So not exactly sure what happened here. He's been a little bit on edge throughout this match as well.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for play. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. Thank you. Please.
Yeah, and you just wonder if that maybe took a little bit of the focus out of Novak Djokovic, along with the wrist maybe starting to affect him now. Definitely going to keep an eye on that.
Players already, please. Thank you. Thank you. All.
And that's when Alexei Popyrin is at his best, looking for that second serve forehand return. And absolutely taking a swat at it. And again, that racket acceleration on top spin speed on the forehand, being top 5 in the ATP, allows that ball to get up and down quickly.
Well, it felt good on the way, didn't it? Just missed its intended landing.
Yeah, Popyrin even on forehand and backhand with 21 unforced errors from both wings. He's staying aggressive.
40-30. Djokovic.
Everyone, including this man, is an understudy to perfection. Coupled with the fact that he's been playing an inspired opponent for almost 3 hours.
For service.
Here he comes.
Yeah, you're right, Petch. Here he comes, just getting that return deeper in the court. Earlier in this match, a lot of those returns were landing at the service line, and now that's getting closer to the baseline, allowing for a shorter ball to pounce on. And another great deep return close to the baseline. And when you get a little bit tired, it's hard to move those feet for Alexei Popyrin.
Popyrin might just want to go and ask the person in the crowd who said whatever he did to Djokovic to not say anything ever again. He's getting frustrated with his own team, but that person has been the one that's ignited this response from Novak. The best producing his best.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 2.
Djokovic, a wall of steel, blowing the ball out. Popyrin just feeling like he's got to find a way to hit some winners in this match, because Novak Djokovic is not missing anymore.
Thank you.
He's played his best tennis, hasn't he, at times when he's felt as though the world's been against him. Tonight is no different.
Yeah, Novak almost can't believe that he missed that shot. Just his feet stopped moving. He didn't have the body weight moving forward through it. You better believe if he gets that shot again, he'll make sure it goes in the court.
There's an effervescence about Djokovic that simply wasn't there until the confrontation.
Yeah, don't poke the bear.
15.
Once it gets poked, it's going to bring some steam at you.
Djokovic against the crowd. We know how this ends. If Popyrin doesn't, he's about to be introduced to it.
Again, Djokovic. Love 15.
The crowd wanting to see more tennis, and Novak Djokovic wanting to put a nail in it right now.
Long 13.
This is Novak's land. You just get to come out and rent it for a few hours. Prismic for over 4. Popyrin for over 3. But you will be shown the door.
Congratulations, one of Mr. Popyrin. Long 14.
He has run riot. Three match points.
Lat for service. Bolton.
Alexei Popyrin trying to say, you know what, I want to be out here a little bit longer.
30 Bolton.
Phenomenal effort from the Australian.
He said he wanted to come out full of confidence. He's done that. Can he keep it going?
Popyrin. Thank you, please. Thank you.
There is not a fan in here who is indifferent right now. Popyrin has created an army of believers, not just that man. And what looked to be a final flourish from Djokovic has been halted in his tracks.
Thank you. The players are ready, please. Thank you. Long.
Oh, Novak Djokovic getting pumped up after winning that point. Just kept that slice low. What are you seeing down there, Wally?
He's just not enjoying that he's not getting the love.
Yeah.
Normally he plays a non-Australian out here, and he's a huge star, of course. He's not enjoying the partisan support. It's like it's a personal affront.
Yeah, just right there. He kind of is looking at the crowd to say, what now? It's my match point.
He's taken on the crowd at the US Open a few times and won. Doesn't seem to bother him at all.
Djokovic, 3 sets to 1, 6-3, 4-6, 7-6, 6-3.
What a dramatic ending and reaction from Novak. It really looked like the stars had aligned under a nighttime sky for Alexei Popyrin. But in the end, it's the biggest star in men's tennis who still shines the brightest.